My $90,000 baby, my Hellcat, had been my dream car for as long as I had known what horsepower meant. I had been saving for over 4 years, scrimping on vacations, skipping luxuries, driving a beat-up Corolla while watching endless videos of the growl of that beast online. But now that rumble was mine. And when I revved into the driveway of my quiet little HOA-managed cul-de-sac, heads turned. My buddy Jake, 2 doors down, ran out with his phone already filming brew. "You actually did it," the grin on his face made every dollar worth it. I was proud. Stupid. Proud. My Hellcat was more than a car. It was a statement, matty gray, finished blacked-out wheels, and that deep, idle growl, like it was Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It had curves that caught the sunlight just right, and the interior smelled of leather and new car pride. But apparently that statement triggered someone badly. Enter Rita, HOA enforcer. Not even the president, just a self-important board member with too much time and not enough. Personality. She was in her mid-50s, bleach blonde bob, stiff as a rake, and always in slacks that screamed divorced tax consultant. She stood at the end of my driveway, arms crossed, sunglasses, low-watching, judging, plotting. I gave her a polite nod. She didn't nod back. She turned and walked away like I'd revved the Hellcat across her petunias. At the time, I thought, whatever, she'll get over it wrong. The next few days were fine. My neighbors congratulated me, took selfies with the car even, asked for rides except for Rita. She started circling my house like a vulture in her Prius, staring, taking notes, pretending to inspect sidewalks and trash cans that didn't exist. I laughed it off until 2 weeks in. That's when she officially walked. Up my front porch, HOA clipboard in hand and word for word. "Your car is loud, lowers the value of surrounding homes and ruins, the peaceful aesthetic of our neighborhood." I almost laughed. I thought she was joking. She wasn't 3 weeks. She said replace it with something cleaner. A Tesla would be preferable. A Tesla. I muttered under my breath. Who the hell drives a Tesla? I spent the rest of that day trying to wrap my head around what Rita had just said, because it was quiet, neighborhood-friendly, and aesthetically aligned with our community's eco-conscious values. That woman had clearly lost her mind. I ignored her. Obviously, this wasn't some HOA dictatorship. There was nothing in the bylaws about car preferences. I had checked twice. 3 weeks passed. No new car in my driveway, just the glorious roar of my Hellcat each morning as I headed to work. I kept it slow in the neighborhood, never revved it obnoxiously, never parked on the curb. I was nothing short of a model resident, Jake. Even joked about how Rita's Prius looked like it was powered by bitterness alone. Then silence. No complaints, no more. Clipboard walks, no passive-aggressive flyers about vehicle harmony. I thought maybe she finally accepted defeat. Wrong again. The 4th week, there was an HOA meeting hosted ironically at Rita's home, but she was nowhere to be seen. 2 other board members ran the show. One of them, Chuck, said she was feeling under the weather. My gut didn't buy it. The meeting ended, and I headed back home, walking toward my driveway like any other evening. But halfway there, I froze. Something wasn't right. My Hellcat looked off. As I got closer, my heart dropped. Red spray paint screamed across the rear window, all 4 tires deflated. Not low, completely flat. My side mirrors snapped, clean off, dangling like broken wings. I just stood there, fists clenched, heat rising through my chest like a volcano on the edge of eruption. I wanted to scream, punch something. Instead, I sprinted inside, yanked open my laptop, and pulled up the footage from my Ring cameras. There she was, Rita, hoodie, gloves, and all, but not careful enough. Her face flashed as she leaned in to spray. She even flipped off the camera. I couldn't believe it. This was full-blown vandalism. I marched straight to her house. She opened the door looking smug until I showed her the footage. Her face shifted. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said quickly. "Besides, if you just switched to a Tesla, Like I warned you, I saw red. I wasn't just dealing with a cranky board member, I was dealing with a lunatic. By the next morning, every trace of hesitation in me was gone. I had receipts, literal video evidence, and a whole lot of righteous fury. So I did what any sane person would do when a delusional HOA member turns your dream car into her personal punching bag. I called my lawyer, Caleb, nearly choked on his coffee when he saw the footage. "This isn't just vandalism," he said. "It's premeditated. That paint wasn't from frustration. That was planned out. She wanted you to suffer. He wasn't wrong, and now I wanted her to suffer too." We documented everything. Damage assessments, towing receipts, surveillance footage from both my home and Jake's Ring camera, which caught her literally, skipping back to her house like some psychotic fairy godmother. She even left red paint stains on the sidewalk like a breadcrumb trail of guilt, and the cherry on top, the HOA had no clue what she'd done. Turns out not even Chuck or the other board. Members were aware she skipped the meeting for a little destruction spree. I told them everything publicly at the next HOA gathering. Jake stood beside me while I projected the footage on a 75-inch screen from his garage. Neighbors gasped. Chuck muttered, "Oh my God." I served her papers the next day. She denied it. Of course, claimed the footage was deep fake, that I'd done the whole thing out of a personal vendetta, because she was only trying to help me align with the values of the neighborhood. "Lady, you keyed my damn car." What followed was a legal and social smackdown. My neighbors, blessed their goods, rallied behind me. Jake printed out flyers that read, "Protect your property from Karen. Know your rights," and stapled them on every public notice. Bored. Rita tried to save face. She blamed stress, said she was going through a transformative spiritual awakening, whatever that means, and even offered to cover my repair costs off the books. Yeah, no. This wasn't going away quietly, not after she humiliated me, destroyed the car I worked 4 years for, and acted like she was the neighborhood messiah. Caleb filed everything. Court date set. Karen was about to find out just how loud a Hellcat can roar in legal form. Court day arrived, and Rita, clad in an all-beige suit that screamed, "I'm the victim," walked in with the audacity of a woman expecting applause. She kept her nose in the air like she was strutting a red carpet. Not a courtroom for criminal vandalism, but the judge wasn't impressed. "Miss Rita Jennings," he began, after watching the surveillance footage twice. "You are very clearly seen vandalizing the plaintiff's property. This includes spray painting, intentional tire deflation, and destruction of mirrors. Do you deny this?" She opened. Her mouth paused, then mumbled something about defending the character of the neighborhood. The courtroom chuckled. The judge didn't. Caleb stood and delivered the final blow. "Not only did my client suffer financial damages," he said, "but this attack was unprovoked, premeditated, and committed by a person in a position of authority, an HOA board member using her title as a weapon. That was it. The nail in the coffin. Rita was found guilty of vandalism, malicious destruction of private property, and violation of neighborhood code ethics. She got 3 months in county jail, plus mandatory payment for all damages, which totaled a little over $7. $400, including cosmetic repainting, new mirrors, 4 high-performance tires, and rental fees for a replacement vehicle." Rita's face looked like it had just swallowed a lemon soaked in regret. But I didn't smile. I didn't even blink. I just stood tall, like a man who defended what was his and won Rita. She moved out 2 months later, probably into a Tesla-friendly zone. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Have you had a similar encounter with a Karen or anyone in the HOA board? Let us know in the comments.